trivial. Like, you could mistake this for being like someone who was totally new to Age of Empires 4, and that's not a criticism or a target at heart. That's actually just a compliment. What Mr. done here, that was phenomenal.
If anything, it's also a compliment to Hut that like we are so surprised, because it wasn't that surprising when Mr. won earlier on, right? It's surprising when he pulls that off. That is just incredible.
And Hut
incredible
had
stuff.
opportunities, right? Like, this is the thing that I was saying about HRE. Like, he's a specialist HRE, and he proved exactly why in game number 2, and that shows promise and potential. But like, the way that Mr. just designs whole new strategies off the cusp like this and applies them in very short times is so scary, because when you're a player on the grinding end, if you're like full time, if you're like your beasties or DeMuslims or whatever, and you've got like a clear meta in your mind and you've constructed this over hundreds of games played, it's really infuriating when you have to come into this unexpected style that you haven't been able to practice again and you hadn't seen yourself. It can catch you off guard. And as we start to talk more about build orders as the months go on of Age of Empires 4 being out, and some people subscribing to a higher import of clear, defined build orders, Mr.'s style of gameplay is going to tear them a new one.
Yep. Yeah. I'm scared on behalf of everyone else for what is to come with the Mr. For now, we need to start thinking about what we are going to do. So we'll take a look around the brackets and tell you what's going on. So the reason we're not immediately jumping into DeMusliM the Mista is because DeMusliM hasn't yet won. I shouldn't say it hasn't yet won.
You've got to really stop this. Like, Pesti, if you want them to sign up, at least like pretend they stand a chance. These poor people. Flash isn't a pushover. All right, so Flash is the person playing against DeMusliM, and Flash, like, for reference, right now is top 40 on the leaderboards. So he's a very competent player. Like, my advice would be, if you, for example, think like Core has a reasonable shot against DeMusliM, you got to give Flash a shot as well. Like, he's very underrated. I think he just doesn't get his time in the limelight because it's very easy to forget about a lot of players when you've got your big streamers or people that are attached to them, like Core, like your Leanox, like your BCs, like your DeMuslims. But there's a lot of people grinding there that are just as scary at the top of the leaderboards.
Talking of Core, who we started the day with, or I think the second game of the day, is in a final versus Nushlebear to make it till tomorrow. Like, not a fight, like the final of the day. So one of Core... Right, put the hype emote in chat. That is so hype. One of Core or Nushlebear is in the final 8 tomorrow of the second weekly. Like, both of those people, that is hype. Good for them. I'm happy for them. That's sick. That is extremely sick. Wow.
So wait, is it Nushlebear or Nushlebar?
Bear. So it means like cuddly bear in German.
Oh, okay. So like, because I heard a bunch of people call them Nushlebar, so I assumed it was like a nutrient bar. I was like, sounds delicious. Glad we got that clarification.
Nushlebear. I think it's Nushlebear. I think you pronounce it the same as in
Nushlebear? Jawohl.
Yeah. Nush might end up being like a monster, by the way. Like, Nush is really like, he's got fantastic APM, very good player. He's Austrian, right? He's Austrian, yeah.
Yes, he's Austrian, and also on the other side, like, I mean, it's Austria versus Germany here, right? Because Core's representing just from up north, and Core, like, although you could argue that Wham's a bigger opponent, of course, Core didn't have an easy time either. He had to deal with Yui Metal. Yui Metal is a person that's been grinding hard on the leaderboards, and I'm still not sure if Mer Metal and Yui Metal are the same person, but if they are, that's 2 accounts in the top 20 for one person. That's not easy to maintain. So, don't think this is going to be like
other good matches, by the way, going on. So we've got BCQT versus Casper's a great one. We've got Vortex, I Am Magic. I Am Magic having a deep run, and I Am Magic went through like a difficult bracket, beat Matisse to get into the final of his bracket. That could be an interesting name to make the end. Listen to this for a stacked pool. The pool 4 has Linux, B, and Recon, 3 of the last 4. That is stacked. Holy moly, that is stacked.
Can I point out like how impressive it is, how deep Recon does keep getting? Because Recon is a part-time player. Those other 2 you mentioned are full-time. And Recon...
Unbelievable.
Who is also the owner of the Rack Attack account. Yes, he went for that. Like, he's regularly found in the top 30 And he's like, I think I was already saying this on my stream. I think he could actually get one of the 16 spots to Red Bull Wololo. Obviously, there's only 12 left available, but like, I think he could easily be one of the players that makes it. I'm kind of tempted to that Kazza BCs. I know we try to avoid like going to your BCs or the Muslims or whatever, but like,
I don't think. I tell you what, I don't agree.
You don't agree. You want to see neutral, don't you? You want to see a win noosh.
I just think that I think should we focus on who we don't normally get like
that's
like
the
I'm
tough
tempted
part, right?
to say do you know what? Do we chat? I think I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but let's hand it over to chat. Right? Let's hand this over. We're gonna do a poll, chat,
up.
right?
There we go. So we've got
so the poll options are
Noosh
I think we're only
Core.
going to do 2 options. We're either going to do like end of Demu, then Demu versus Mr. Or no, you don't think so? Because I think
it's
surely it's either going for the. Okay, go on. What do you think?
So I think it's Noosh versus Core, DeMusliM versus Mr., or Beastie versus Kazva.
No one will vote Casper, but I'll do it anyway.
Then there's no issue putting it in if no one's gonna vote at Pesti.
I tell you why.
So
I'll tell you
my reservations, like why I wouldn't just default to Kazva, is like because I already highlighted my issues. I haven't seen the beast from the ladders that appear in the competitive scene in the tournaments. So like it no offense to Kazva, but like his playstyle against beasties, it should be quite easy for Beastie. And admittedly, I think that's the one beast that Kazva hasn't been able to like stomp out in the pub games. Like I'm pretty sure if we pulled up like the pub game win percentages, I'd probably expect Beastie to be like 85 or 90%.
I tell you why I think you're wrong. Because I think Casper is improving enough that we're going to see a lot of Beastie Casper in these events.
Yeah.
Like, I think in Final 8, we're going to see lots of that.
Wait.
I think Demu...
I can't let you get away with that then. So you don't think you'll see a lot of DeMusliM Mr.?
Yeah, but it's just so much more... All right, we're going to let people vote. Also, wait, you can let people use bits to vote extra? Fuck yeah, I'm doing that. Hold on.
I knew he'd do it.
Right, guys.
This is rigged! This ain't a democracy! Bribe him! Bribe him!
For an extra 100 bits, aka $1, have an extra vote, boys and girls. Listen. These bills don't pay themselves.
Pesti, a man of the people, as long as you have money.
The only reason I'm casting, the only reason I'm with all of you plebeians, is so I don't have to pay. Is so I don't have to pay one more person their casting fee. That's the only reason I'm here. No,
you heard it here first, folks. EGC's on tough times right now. They can't afford to cut.
There you go.
Oh dear, we're now a charity stream. Like if Pesti,
poll is up, guys.
His gallery subscription, so we're gonna help him out. Vote for the game. Let's go.
Poll is up.
You know
so just so you understand what you're voting for, if it's the DeMusliM Mister, we would watch the end. We would go live to where DeMusliM is. Just catch right up.
Look at that.
With where DeMusliM is.
Barbecue ribs.
It's gonna...
Big shout out there. 10 gift subs coming in. Much love, barbecue ribs. You know, technically, you could have influenced the votes with... Wait, how much would that have been? 50 extra votes.
Thank you very much.
But we appreciate you for giving the subs out.
No, more. It's $1.
It's $1 each.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Barbecue ribs, thank you very much. I think you come in almost every stream to support the channel, so very, very much appreciated. I mean, these numbers are speaking for themselves, aren't they?
You know why? Because you said end of one series and then another one. They're worried that you're not going to give them additional content. Looks like it is going to be end of DeMusliM series and then DeMusliM or Flash versus Mr. Ooh.
I don't know 7 with his comment. Dear Pesti, written like a letter, I greatly enjoy your casting. Your energy, passion for the game, and casting style is truly a joy. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. However, what I don't enjoy is when you flex on us with your wood panel walls.
Not just his wooden panel walls. Look at his lights, his dangly lights. Mr. Bourgeoisie over here. And his fancy gallery subscriptions. I can't ever let that slide. I warned him when Pesti was like, "I'm gonna join you for this one, KP." I was like, "You know what I'm like? Are you sure you want to go on camera with this for several hours?" What's the worst that could happen? Oh god.
All right. So what we're gonna do, the numbers speak for themselves. What we're gonna do is production, Lidicor, if you could please just take us live to people hold on, wait. This isn't over yet because for
Yeah, the vote's not done yet.
$36 you get Nush vs. Core. Look, Hella Ketchup has
There you go.
has anyone spent money on this? I'm genuinely interested.
Ketchup gave us bits. I don't think he used it to influence the votes. But shout out to you, Hella Ketchup. Thank you for the bits.
Thank you very much, Hella Ketchup. So for $37 you could just choose Nush Core. I don't know if I could. That just feels so wrong. That's so capitalist. Like 100 people vote. All right. Oh, guys, I've got news. DeMusliM won, so we're just going to DeMusliM Mista.
Look at that.
No, that makes life easier. That makes life easier.
That was great because we bought enough time here, letting them think that this was democracy when really we were going to do the DeMusliM Mista series anyway. So there we go.
That is not a spoiler, guys. People don't know what. That's not a spoiler.
Yo, Snores.
Saying what happened.
Thank you to Snores, by the way.
What happened.
Snores did contribute to the vote. He gave 100 bits to try and sway the vote. Appreciate you for trying, buddy.
No, he didn't. Oh, he did.
No, he did.
Snore, who did you use it on? He used it on DeMusliM even though it was going to win. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Snores. Snores, you are an actual legend. There we go. The hype train choo-choo started with me. Was that mean for me to let people manipulate? It didn't make a difference. Fine. It's fine. It didn't make a difference.
No, I think it's totally reasonable. Like if there's anything I've learned from like streaming for years, it's that when someone like turns up in your chat and drops 20 subs and types dance whore dance, you just do it. You just do whatever they want. That's the way it works. All right. Everyone has a number, Pesti, and that vote had a number.
Language.
Whoa! No, after your comments earlier.
I'm kidding. Right now, jokes. Just let's be serious. Because if shit wasn't real before.
Language, Pesti.
If poo-poo wasn't real before, now...
Why don't you just show your bourgeoisie side? Call it feces.
Feces is getting real over here. Feces is getting real.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Thank you, Kosatok, coming in with the prime. Oh, feces are getting real. Let's be... Oh, that... J. Frank... Hold on. Question.
Mm-hmm.
J. Frank the Tank 5.
Yep.
Are you Frank the Tank that I played AoE 3 team games with back in the actual OG days? I reckon you are. How many Frank the Tanks are there? Is that you, Frank the Tank? That's awesome. If so, that we played. This is OG stuff. That's
he had you as
actual OG stuff.
So just to clarify, he had you as a teammate.
Don't be mean. Don't be mean.
You should gift him a sub to say sorry.
Don't be mean anymore. More than one, apparently. We played a lot of team games back in the day. That is Frank the Tank.
All right, there you go. Look at
that. Oh my God.
Pesti's really connected.
I'm very happy. That's awesome to have you here, Frank. Thank you very much, Brace, coming in with a prime. And there we see Frizzy and Marshes. I am so excited for this. This one, if Mr. wins this, then there's just no words even left.
So...
Oh, Frank the Tank was saying there's more than one Frank the Tank, apparently, so it wasn't I played with Sag. Okay.
In fairness, that is fair. That there's Frank the Tank 1, 2, 3, and 4 at least. So yeah, you got the wrong one.
Ouch.
Why? He's Frank the Tank 5.
Prediction. Now I actually have got a minute to bloody think. I'm going to do my prediction. Right. Game 1. You can have a little prediction, guys. Let's do it. TheMista versus DeMusliM. Have a prediction. I'll give you 10 minutes. I think the game's not even started yet. They're still drafting. We're just going to chill. This is where, normally the casters would be like, can we take a break? I'd say, no, keep momentum. Work. So I'm going to stay. We're going to grind this out. I'm going to check my phone, see. Although I shouldn't tilt my phone towards the screen. That's going to not be a good idea.
I mean,
What's
for
going
real,
on?
like we were asked, and I just typed IDGAF. Like, we can keep going.
Oh, hold on.
So what
Pasta.
other?
I can't eat pasta right now. That looks good though.
Oh, look at him
What?
now, guys, flexing with his takeaway
It's
orders.
spaghetti. It's spaghetti. KP, no,
Oh,
no,
look at
no.
you,
Spaghetti is not a
European.
flex. Spaghetti is not a flex. What food? What? Look what you've done, Chromicus. Pesti checking his stock portfolio. Literally, my girlfriend sent me a picture. My girlfriend sent me a picture of
some nice
some spaghetti, of some very average looking spaghetti. I hope she can probably hear that. Some mediocre spaghetti. And to chat, I'm checking my stock portfolio.
The best part would be if she heard this and she'd actually cooked the spaghetti, and now you just kind of insulted her for the effort.
Listen, normally when my girlfriend cooks spaghetti, it turns into some kind of floury soup at some point in the night. That's
Some of us just cook our own meals, Pesti. You know, times are tough. We have to.
Oh no, not that angle, not that angle. Absolutely not that angle.
I would like to say.
Real talk, how do you fucking...
I'd like to say, just to point out, he said he didn't want a break. Now he's regretting it.
Can I just say, actually, this is a true story. So now we've got some time, one of my favorite... No, I'm not even gonna...
Bragging about a girlfriend now. Can we get someone relatable?
That is not what I was gonna say.
I want Frank here more often.
What I was gonna say. Oh no. Oh, the game. When will the game start? The wrapping. We're just waiting for the players are drafting right now. So 5 or 6 minutes till the game starts. I'm sorry. I know you appear to be really enjoying the intermission, but you'll have to wait a little while.
So Jeff Babov says, "Real talk. How do you screw up spaghetti? Very simply, you add rice instead. There you go. You've written spaghetti.
Yeah, add rice instead. I actually want to know. Have I got any angry WhatsApps from the missus? No, so she can't hear through the wall. That's good. Okay, that's some good news.
Oh god.
Oh god, right. We've just got another. How much? Hold on. Let's find out. I'm going to ask what is going on with this draft because there's only so much more bourgeois I can share with you all. Hold on. Pesti gets his spaghetti delivered by.
Yep.
Oh, HRE on Frisian marshes.
Oh my, Benny boy going a different direction. Are you teasing too early? I think they're still prepping. So let's catch up on what else is happening because some people might notice the name Chrysor, a name that we haven't really been seeing too recently. Well, he's currently in the series of Marine Lord, and they're now 1-1. And here's a crazy one for you. Nice little lead into what we're about to do here, Pesti. Chrysor beat Marine Lord with the HRE on Frisian Marshes.
Wow. Okay. Okay, Chrysior. I see you, Chrysior. I see you. That's pretty. So Marine Lord may be in a little bit of trouble. What else is going on? Nothing yet in Beastie versus Casver. Vortex Iron Magic, nothing yet. B beat Recon 2-0. Okay.
Yep.
B's looking very strong in general. B's looking very, very strong. Happy Ball Potch is another great game. Guys, listen, I'm all about the community. Like, feel free to check out some of these other games if you want. What snarky... Go on, say it. Say it, KP.
I'm gonna be real with you folks. I thought he was gonna trigger another poll and once again give you the ability to buy votes with bits. Listen, guys, I'm all about the community. It has been 10 minutes since we voted, so if y'all have changed your mind, here's the bits voting again.
I want to try something. Hold on. Should you be able to buy votes with bits? Now, this is a real social experiment because you can buy a vote for 1 bit, which is 1 cent, right? 1 minute snap poll. Should you be able to buy votes with bits? That'll cost you just 1 cent. Come on, throw your cents at me. Throw your cents at me, guys. Hold on.
Jesus is
In the
getting desperate
meantime,
tonight. By the way, if we ever do a LAN, this is now going to be a piece of content on the side. I'm gonna you don't have his choice in it. Like, if I'm working, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this piece of content. This probably decreases my chance of getting hiring because the content is gonna be simple. We're gonna make Pesti money, and the way they'll do that is that they'll have scents that they will throw at you, literally physically throw at you when you're up on stage, and
yeah.
then you have to crawl
Sounds
around, grabbing it all together, going, the Vegas LAN won't pay for itself.
Sounds painful. Now, I've got some other more news coming through. By the way, guys, enjoy this cast. I want you to know I do one cast every 3 to 6 months, and that is remaining the case after today. There is no way that I'll be back soon. So enjoy this moment. No, I've actually really enjoyed it. Okay, can I just tell you that should you be able to buy votes with bits?
Yes.
One, because Over Chili bought 41 votes.
Welcome to the modern political system. You're now indoctrinated.
Yeah. Over Chili managed to manipulate that poll with 41 cents.
Hey man, you want to get things done in the world, you got to pay for it. That's the way it works, folks. Welcome to modern democracy at its finest.
This is why every time I do this, I remember why I don't cast and why professionals cast. This is pain. My body hurts. My throat hurts. That's some other new interesting news. I Am Magic leading Vortex 1-0, right?
Hello.
Also won with HRE on Frisia.
Dude, people are getting tripped up right now. Now, some people try to argue HRE are broken because they can just like bank a lot of sheep and sit in their base. But like, I wonder in those matchups where HRE is doing that, how many times people are just sitting in their own base as well versus playing out on the fish. Because I think the fish is really the equaling factor. It's why we're seeing a lot of people go for French and the Roost still. So this might be one of the more interesting matchups. Because I wonder what the Civ choices were on the other side when HRE was picked. In fact, crazy one from Mr. is that he banned Mongols as well. Like, we didn't even talk about that detail. I don't think anyone else has been banning Mongols on this map.
I don't think so. I think that's the first time. We've only seen Rus and French banned till now, I think. But maybe we're going to start seeing HRE. I'm just trying to think why HRE is the direction that you'd want to go. I've not actually paid much attention to the relic spawns.
Your base is very hard to outpost rush. Like, a popular way of blocking HRE players is blocking their gold, but the problem is, like, all attention tends to be funneled because your wood is always protected. You're against the edge of the map. So the logic is that you have a safe corner. You know, certain corner campers, anonymous, will be joined together saying, don't tell them what we do on this map. Like, you can sit there for a while. But the logic is meant to be that the value out on the map is so high that you're encouraged to play it. And if an HRE player is staying condensed in their base, they're ignoring that variable. So I want to see what the approach is going to be for DeMusliM, because DeMusliM is a multi-TC enthusiast. I've seen it multiple times out of him. He could choose to actually extend a TC out towards the ponds. If he does that, and he builds a prelate there, that is an insane food boom. You will gather at 1.4 food a second, whereas the poor peons in the Rus Empire will only be doing about 1 food a second.
Super interested to see how that one goes. I believe we are about 1 minute away from getting into this one. Oh, it's going to be a super, super interesting one. A final shout out and congratulations to Adney, who created this map. Now, I can say what we're doing next week, right? I'm going to wait because I get
it's
in
your
trouble
tournament
for this with my team. No, but do you know what? To be fair, folks like yourself and Lyrical do a lot of work, and Lord Tito, a lot of work on rules. And when I announce a bad, wrong rule, I don't want to undermine the rest of the team. What I can tell you is next week you will see another new map. What I don't know, I genuinely don't, I'm going to check this. If this can also just enter the map pool as well as the new map. That I don't know, but the whole team will discuss that. I think that's a possibility that we might see, but we are going to see a new map next weekend that's never been seen again. I'm just not sure. I don't remember what happens with Frisian Marshes.
Whatever we want.
So
that's the
whatever we
power
want, whatever
we
the
hold.
team wants. Whatever the team wants. So
Unless someone
I
gives
don't know
100
which one
subs
it
right
is,
now,
but
but then they can decide what happens with it next. Is everything for sale?
for
at this point?
100 subs, maybe.
All right.
Then you have to be careful for 100. 8 of the 3 could just choose the map pool for the entirety through the main event if we're not careful. So we shouldn't get too. Won't get into that.
I need to stop dragging the scene away. I need to lock myself out. All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Integrity up for grabs for the right price. However, a place in day number 2 of week number 2 is up for grabs here in a best of 3 to 2 of the highest rate players. In fact, 2 of the players that made it to M4C earlier this year as we hop into Frisian Marshes to see DeMusliM versus Mista. Have we been lied to?
We have. It's our fault, not his. So it's very much our fault.
I can
We've
hear
been
them.
told. No. It's and now we are in. Welcome in. For those that don't know, that's very much on us. But welcome back to Frisian Marshes and a slightly different looking Fawn. All right, this looks, or is it? Like maybe it's the same, just laid out a bit differently.
Yeah, it's fairly similar. The ponds are maybe a little bit closer in some situations. We have got the 5 relic spawn right now. Something that has been noted we're going to be looking at is we can't guarantee 5 relics all the time. Although as we move into day number 2s, we should be using seeded maps, so we should be able to like deal with that issue. But the reason why every once in a while you might get 4 relics on this map is an issue with the relic generation tool that relic designed. It is fixed in the pop, but we aren't on the pop, so we have to wait on that. But holy crap. Yes, come along, little sled dogs. Pumps the shotgun.
Wow, that's a lot. I think, well, I mean, from what we're hearing, HRE is doing very well on this map, but let's give a little intro, maybe for those watching on YouTube. So this is Frisian Marshes, a brand new map in competitive Age of Empires. We're on a bit of a mission to grow the esports map pool out for AoE4, and Frisian Marsh is the 3rd time we've seen it today, maybe even the 4th. I think 3rd or 4th time we've seen it today. Been very, very popular, very, very good fun to see. 2 players that we've got, of course, we've got TheMista spawning on the east of the map in red, playing as the Ruz on his competitive comeback to AoE4 on a fantastic run today. He's just beaten Hut in the previous round, another very, very good player. So very, very strong start from him, and spawning in the northwest. We've got DeMusliM, who came 2nd in the first Open Weekly. He's currently actually leading the road to Wololo standings. So, well, the leader's technically Beastie Cutie, who won, but because he's already qualified, the legitimate kind of leader for all intents and purposes is DeMusliM.
Yes, for the people who've lost, looking to become winners, looking to actually get a slot at the road to Wololo to get to the big land later this year. That's where DeMusliM is leading. And just one thing to quickly highlight, by the way, like this map, shout out to Adney for making it. We are probably going to be interested in making more of these maps a reality in the competitive scene, testing them in the coming weeks. So if you guys have good ideas for maps, start building them now. We do give credit, and we do give cash. Cash and credit. There you go. What more do you want?
Yeah, they're 2 good things. There's 2 good things. I mean, to be clear, it is more of like an honorary little prize, so don't
don't think we're going to make you millionaires.
Invoices. No. We give a little like $50 recognition prize for those that make it onto the screen. It's more obviously not, that doesn't cover the huge amount of time people put into this, but we feel it's kind of a community thing that people love doing, and we want to give some kind of recognition. And of course, I think as importantly, we're very careful to give full credit to those that create the map. So you'll see Adney's kind of credit all over this for his very, very good work.
Speaking of good work.
So yeah, I also see, while it's the beginning of the game quickly, people asking if it, could we explain about why stone walls are banned and some quirky rule decisions. So just quickly for those that don't know, all the way since the beginning of N4C, stone walls have been banned in Feudal and stone towers have been banned throughout the event. It was something the players agreed during N4C, and it's something that I think everyone has agreed makes the game a bit more faster, flowing, and interesting and exciting. So that's the reason behind that.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, the walling made it a little bit too cheesy, a little bit too easy to either stop your opponent and press them fully, or to ensure that you could not be harassed either. And I know there's some complaints more recently around Outposts and the design of them, and of course, the upcoming pup will tweak them slightly, but I don't feel like Outposts were on the same level of pressure, and also were a lot harder of a thing to invest in to get value out of compared to just stone walls, which was quite a trivial element. So glad we have that rule in place. But looks like Mista doing pretty well on the bounty side of things. Went up to 350 in the end, so that's a big amount of surplus gold. Will allow him to more or less be neck and neck with the HRE heading into the feudal age. You don't want to be neck and neck. You want to find a way of now getting ahead. And DeMusliM, I was kind of implying this might be coming out before we hopped in this game, the possibility for the multi-TC, because Ben does love to go for a secondary TC expansion. And he's hard on the stone right now. With the Holy Inspiration, this is going to be fast. And the scouts might find it difficult to shut him out.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Using the Arc and Chopper, like, he didn't even hesitate for a second. That Arc and Chopper went straight down on the stone. And, I mean, look, he didn't even, like, try to get as many resources in as he could. Or it was really all about getting on the stone, wasn't it? That's what he had in mind from the beginning. So, straight into that 2 TC build, which it looks like, you know, was the game plan from the beginning. Gonna be interesting to see how that works out. Mista trying to stop this outpost from going up. Not gonna be able to. It will go up.
It won't go up straight away, but it'll be delayed. So he's paranoid because he's up against the Roos, and we know what Roos players like to do. We know the way that it's actually been played quite frequently on this map as well, is you usually go into the proxy bore, or just build up archers back at home, and you try to rush your opponent out of the game. And it's interesting that DeMusliM's super worried about this, but understandably, he doesn't want to lose the gold. Realistically, you don't want to ram rush an HRE player because they have emergency repairs, but you do want to pressure their gold site. And as you can see, both players, they have got full gold spawns, so that is the weakness in their spawn. That is the thing they need to defend. And I think one thing I like about the design of this map compared to others is, like, outposting can be a high-risk, high-reward play, because although you have a clear target for your aggression, your opponent also has a clear point of defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mista, again, keeping that same strategy that we saw him play in the previous game. So putting the town center right on top of that pond, using it as the resource gathering point, which worked very, very well last time. I'm going to see how it works again this time around. But you definitely like to see that both players finally getting wheelbarrow this time. So that's nice to see. Interested to see what they both go for him, especially interested to see how HRE is going to play this, because looks like some others have done it. We've not yet seen it, and Mista on top of those fish and those astronomical gathering rates.
Yeah, which are going to be inflated further because he's got the tier 2 bounty unlock, so he's gathering at 1.1 food per second instead of the base 1. And in fairness, DeMusliM is competitive with that. Like, he's up at the 0.83 on the deer by default, but then he's buffing up the whole inspiration, so he's actually more or less matching, slightly exceeding Mista's gathering rates. And some people are probably wondering, why did he not go for fish? The problem with the HRE, the tough choice they're going to have to make on this map, is the HRE has a tendency to play condensed. Even if you go multi-TC, at the end of the day, your goal is to boom up as quickly as possible. And if you push a TC this far out, even with emergency repairs, it can offer up an opportunity where you can get ram rushed. That's why DeMusliM kept it daisy chained in. He wants to create a strong line of defenses instead of creating a second base.
Interested to see what he's going to do with that. DeMusliM cancels the outpost, realizes he can't get it up. Scouts get on top of the archers briefly, but no real harm done over there. Hard to call who's made the kind of better start. I think both players have basically got out what they sought to achieve. Mista already on that production, going to start producing archers pretty quickly. Just looking at those resource gather rates on this map at the 8-minute mark, just look at that food income.
So I think Mist is actually better off right now because he's slightly ahead in the tech up timing. And I think he's going to benefit slightly more with this layout because the fish are going to last a long time. And although Mist, he's a risk of that expansion, the difference is, like, he's going to get a good reward for it. DeMusliM, although we have good starting resources with the deer and with the berries, they aren't being buffed up. There's no holy inspiration here, so they don't compare to the shoreline fish. And on top of that, afterwards you're going to have to move out anyway. So I think like Mista has taken advantage of the fact that neither player wants to play aggressive right now to get maximum value out of the second TC, while DeMusliM played it a lot more safe.
Yeah, Regnit's going up for DeMusliM in the meantime. Seems to be the right call. Trying to see how those relics are. They seem fine, so
yeah,
interested to see how the HRE plays out. Yeah, he's going to get 2, no problem at all. I don't think Mister's even going to try and deny him getting 2 because he's realistically just not going to be able to do that.
He has got the
similar age up time.
Yeah, and he has got the triple archer range, so he'll push the first round of horse archers. I think DeMusliM gets 1 relic for free. The second one's going to have a blood tax on it, unless he pulls 2 prelates already. But you can see by the minimap, like, he hasn't started moving out yet. This means that Mr. should be able to block the central relic and the one over to the west.
See how that plays out. What we've really not seen yet on Frisian Marshes is like a full expansion to the very far end of the map away from the town centers. I'd love to see that happen. I guess at some point it will in a late game situation. Like, almost I'd like to make, like, it'd be interesting if there was even more down there in the south to entice you to make that move, but
there is
it's
something
playing very
really
well as it is.
Cool down there, actually. Something that I never really got a chance to talk about because these games haven't been going past like 40 minutes max. If you approach an hour game, trade starts to come into your brain, and these trade routes are set up in a way that like, it's optimal distance for protection. Like, it's on the edge, and your base is in the opposite corner. So like, you can actually exploit this in a hyper late game when people carve up the map. I think that's one cool thing about Frisian, is that we highlight that this game, like this map, was designed to force fights in the early mid game, but it doesn't mean you can't get hyper late games. And if you do get hyper late games, usually you carve up territory and wall everywhere. And in that situation, trade could become very viable in a late game situation.
Yeah, that might be interesting to see actually happen, but as you said, we've not really seen a game go much more than a kind of 12, 14 minutes so far, so no sign yet. A couple of DeMuslims spearmen going down there, and
crossbows.
Now crossbows coming out.
Yeah, so horse, it makes sense if you think man-at-arms coming, but horse archers can usually be pretty decent as well because they have very high base damage, so they still do reasonable damage out. The issue right now is that DeMusliM hasn't gone man-at-arms at all. He's only building a few spears. That might change soon, but Mista tried to snatch away the relic from his opponent's side here. Looks like DeMusliM might get free. He's already banked 2. And that's the difference as well. Because you go for crossbowmen instead of horse archers, you can't intercept the prelates. That's what's surprising me about this choice by Mista.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could have tried to delay it a bit. I don't think he was ever going to stop him getting those 2 relics that he needed. But yeah, that's 3 now. He's actually going to, that prelude's actually going to go down to the warrior monk.
He never used the Wololo either, so he didn't delay. But there wouldn't have been much point anyway. It would have just been idle time, which is nice at least. And oh, hello. You know what I want to see? Like, what happens if both players hit Wololo at the exact same time? Actually, I don't want to see that. It tends to be boring.
That would be pretty fun.
The problem is, like, I'm not going to pretend it would be fun. The problem is, like, if you do it at the exact same time, the way it would work is based on a server clock. It would probably be something trivial, like whoever's, like, listed as slot 1 in the lobby would get the conversion first.
That's sad.
Nerdy programmer talk, but that's usually how those things work.
So yeah, it would be something like very archaic. Now, taking a look, what's going on around the map is...
Ignore me.
You can't convert.
I don't know why I thought you could convert. I kind of want it in some ways. Yeah, they're right. I'm an idiot. It's been a long day.
No, but what would happen if you simultaneously tried to cast each other's units?
Yeah. Like that situation,
same thing, right?
I think it's once again the tick rate. So what would happen there is actually being second place in the lobby would give you the conversion, because if you converted at the exact same time, it would probably be something trivial like the way which player it checks first, and it would probably check player 1 first and then player 2.
Hey, back to the action, and Mr. did manage to get two of the relics. So I mean, it could have gone worse, but I mean, DeMusliM's happy with his 3. That's basically all he needs in this situation. It has spawned 5 relics as it should this map, and now the trebuchet already out for the Mr. on that 40-minute mark. Gone straight in for the trebuchet. Interesting composition with the trebuchet crossbows coming out. And that's going to force some kind of response from DeMusliM.
Yes, the response is, I am HRE, so I like Imperial Age. He's not even engaging with this. The outposts were merely to delay. Mista got stuck down in this, and it's the worst thing for him as well. He should have been going straight through the stealth forest, but he was kind of paranoid. Because you don't know if DeMusliM's going to hard invest at this stage, but we can see what he's doing. He's got the resources, and he's up. Imperial Age complete. The Love Hotel online. And this should be where DeMusliM starts to get out of control.
This is where Mista just goes, oh, that is not good.
Whoops, I forgot. He's playing HRE.
And Mista, I think, was expecting some incoming aggression just based on those outposts going up. Look at those villagers. He was expecting some kind of aggression, especially based on the fact on how he's walling a lot, thinking it's going to come. In the meantime, DeMusliM's just sat there, just like, okay, like it's fine, just build your trebuchet. Like these towers can go. I'm fine, I'm chill. And villagers go, bro, and we're just gonna watch that villager count just explode right now in really just in seconds. So that is going to be something to keep an eye on. Look at that military difference, huge, 41 to 9, but it's not going to matter. He's not in a position to do very much about it. DeMusliM, DeMusliM's got the relic in the... Yeah. Oh, it's not the same as being in the dock. He's got it in the outpost, which is normal. Okay, because of course there's no dock.
So if you put it in a static defense, you still get the gold per minute, but then you also buff the defense. And the cool thing is because he's got a third relic, I think DeMusliM's going to go for a keep drop in the stealth forest, just on the outside of Mista's base. And right now, Mista doesn't have a good way of stopping that. He only has one trebuchet. The problem with trebuchets is it's a very slow build-up. Mista was expecting this to be kind of a dragged-out castle. And now he has to react accordingly because he's in a situation where DeMusliM could do a lot more damage with just one bombard.
Yeah. No, definitely. And again, a lot of people asking what this map is. This is Frisian Marshes new map created by Adney that we're introducing into AoE for esports. And it's going to be part of a theme of continuing to introduce more and more maps into the competitive space. For those that aren't aware, obviously, I probably should have done a better job of advertising that fact. Oh, I never Discord noticed that we'd be streaming. Interesting. Okay, that's what goes wrong when I'm casting. Anyway, that Borg now does go down, so Mista's going to move on to that.
So
look at that bounty today, 575.
So Mista needs to catch up fast. He's going to make his way up. He has got an awkward transition ahead of him though, because he's drained most of the fish now. You can see he's actually spread out. There can't be much left there, which means he's going to have to make a farm transition, which will be a heavy hit on his eco. He's got the reserve fish back here, but like all the ones close to the TC, like you can see how quickly he's getting through this. That's the power of shoreline fish. It's a big booster, but it doesn't last very long.
I think that it's just hard for the Mista to catch up from this point. Although he's also now teching up, going Imperial himself, the Mista. So we're going to go... it's actually funny. We've seen... That's another sign of a great map, right? We've seen this map a few times, and the others had all been like feudal, drawn out feudals. Both players playing in feudal past 20 minutes, and now we've got two players both playing Imperial before 20 minutes. So also good to see that it's a map that's like very non-one-dimensional, or multi-dimensional would be a better way of phrasing that, and creates lots of different situations. So that's definitely something that's very, very good to see. A little bit of a confrontation happening. Mista's starting to move in a little bit with his huge number of crossbows. And I tell you what, DeMusliM doesn't yet have very much military at all. Bombard out, but...
Yeah, but the bombard takes a long time to kill. He could just actually target them down one by one. Just get rid of the melee and then you don't take enough damage. Like, look, oh no,
that bombard's going to get lost. He's going to just...
He's not going to be lost. It's just going to stand its ground. And even the prelates... Wait, what? Did DeMusliM just select all units? The prelates are on a shuffle out for some reason here. But look at the bombard.
Yeah,
like, the bombards have taken no damage. He's going to lose his entire army to bombards.
Well, those one units at a time add up, right? At first it's just one, and then it's 2, 3, but that did not go Mista's way. I think Mista maybe was expecting that the units were going to do some more damage to those bombards. I'm not sure.
I think he was throwing them away to buy time, because one of the big issues when you reach this stage in the roofs is you want to go for Streltsy. The problem is that I've seen plenty of players get caught off guard by the Imperial Age timings because the moment they get there, their first thought is Streltsy, and if you don't have like 8 to 10 archery ranges, it takes a very long time to get them online. Streltsy are not quickly produced. They are cheap, and they are very enticing, but they take a long time to build up.
Now he's managing to get those, well, those lats are being gonna say getting shredded, but it was pretty even fight in the end. It looks pretty, I mean, like there's, yeah, the Trebs are in serious trouble, and oh, he doesn't manage to get the villagers out in time.
He's not reacting
again.
Missed just in time. Final torches are coming out.
That is
Langstack can do damage here though. Langstack, oh god! Wait, no! Oh no! DeMusliM! I think that was a misclick. If he kept cleaving, he probably kills all the villagers there.
That could be. He only just there had enough crossbows to start that getting extremely gnarly. I mean, he's clearly trying to get up to the eco situation to start pumping out Streltsy, but that's a pretty difficult thing to do. And in the meantime, not being able to do anything to get involved in those bombards, they're looking fine. Of course, one of the changes we're going to see based on the pup version is the torches won't even come out, so all units would have been doing what those crossbows were doing and trying to take down Siege just by firing their weapons at it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, though I think they'll do more damage with their weapons than currently. So
I think one big thing that change with Siege should do is it should reduce the effectivity of gunpowder units and taking out Siege. It's a bit dumb. Like, this catapult has been shot by a musket. Ooh, really threatening. Oh no. You scratched my brand new shiny Mangonel. This is definitely going to impact the way it works. So, I think that's like one big area.
I like the reference to musket. An AoE 3 moment there with the musket.
You got excited.
I got excited. Oh, are we seeing Brits versus Brits? Oh, good.
I mean, the funny thing, by the way, is like bombards are still going to be pretty powerful late game, and it's quite funny to watch right now because Mista's going to have to hard commit to get rid of them. Otherwise, this is going to turn from Age of Empires 4 into 10-pin Streltsy. You saw what it done to the crossbows. It does similar to the Streltsies, and the Streltsies have the same issue of gap closing. It takes quite a while. In fact, that's why he's getting the double time. I'm glad to see that. Like, double time will allow him to get on top of them. So right now, DeMusliM needs a good front line. I like the Langstack in the mixer, because if your opponent's plan is to double time on top of the bombards, he's going to run right past this, and that AoE damage will just eviscerate a Streltsy line.
Now, one thing that Mista does definitely have in this game is the map. And that is a lot of it. I mean, just look at, like, he really has done a great job walling off. I think he's just settling in a little bit and, like, gonna have to force DeMusliM to somehow break out of that. I mean, there is a gap in the wall over there, which is a bit of an oversight, but DeMusliM still feels a little bit trapped there. And yeah, the map is very, very much owned by Mista right now. Already, look, he's taking that big gold mine right at the bottom, and it's going to dry up fairly quickly for DeMusliM. Of course, gold's not going to be an issue,
exactly. Like, it's 700 gold permanent. 700 gold permanent passive, and he still has reserves. The detail that would have mattered is if DeMusliM was running out of wood, but you might notice he's only now finishing up his first wood line. He has basically 3 more worth in that area, and this is what I was worried about. Like, he was looking for an opportunity to do this, because if you check, the Stealth Forest is completely unguarded. If I'm DeMusliM, I'm considering pulling a bunch of villages after I gather stone and dropping a keep, because all the attention is towards the center. And Mista's army doesn't move well. It's slow. It's clunky. So if you build horsemen and keep raiding multiple directions, Mista takes too long to react.
In the meantime, thanks very much to Marine Lord coming in with a big raid. Gonna imagine that means he probably won, because when he loses, he just says Sacre Bleu and throws his keyboard out the window. So congratulations if he did win. I'm only kidding, he doesn't do that at all, but I'm going to assume he possibly won that. We'll take a look after this game. Yeah, Mista with a nice critical mass there of Springles.
I was going to say, like, Marine Lord, actually, it feels more often that he's saying Pigeon in these tournaments, because I think, like, he's consistently the player that finishes the first days the fastest. Almost every time when you look, he's just updated. He's
is he the first?
I don't know if he's first this time around. I think he got delayed.
I love how chat's saying shots fired, like that was in any way insulting.
No, they meant by these Streltsy. Look at all these Streltsy. They're doing so. They're not doing well. They're not doing well. The TC goes down. The bombard's going to pick them apart now. And the man-at-arms, like, they're so chunky, it takes a while. The wrap around the horseman as well, and this is a heavy loss for Mista.
A lot of big loss. Population starting to drop a little bit. Still relatively even between the two players, but they are expensive units, those Streltsy, when they get taken down.
It's the Bombard Battalion and the Culverins now that's going to be a problem for Mista. You can see that he built anti-siege, but the Culverins are a great answer. Very chunky unit, not as easy to breach. And although the Springals do have additional range, like the issue I see on this map that can make long-range Springals a bit awkward to wield compared to Culverins is all the breaks, all the tree lines. You can lose vision very easily, so it should be easy for DeMusliM to sneak up on that anti-siege wall. Horseman. Flash for the Knights.
Confrontation's coming here.
Oh, too late on the pullback there. DeMusliM needs to get out of here. Culverin's going to start full, and they need to target out the Springals. Trying to go for the trades. A little bit suboptimal, though. He targeted the same Springald, so not a good trade. The Bombard's going down. Mistakes have been made here by DeMusliM. A heavy loss for him, and now Mista will be able to clean up the Streltsy. The Lags deck, the glass cannons that just cannot reach, they're going to fall too fast. The whole siege battalion is gone for DeMusliM.
And now look at that pop gap opening up. Oh, and he's run out of gold. He's going to have to trace that, sir.
Oh,
sir.
God. That's not free.
Sir.
There's a blood tax, sir. Back to where you came.
Withdraws. But even with those relics, DeMuslim's gold, that's not enough. That's not enough to service his needs right now. He needs more gold. The relics won't cut it.
No, he's clearly subscribing to a gallery as well. The amount of money he needs. He builds Langsneck, he builds Siege, he builds Man-at-Arms. All these things require gold. There's such a high demand for him. And Mista's going to fight you tooth and nail over this because he has a high demand as well. He's building into the anti-siege, and he's also building mass Streltsy. Streltsy being 90 gold each themselves. Both of them need this. And right now, it looks like Mista's going to be the one getting it because the front line just isn't holding up anymore for DeMusliM. A few Knights will chase away the Bombard, and now a few Streltsy will be able to chase away, or rather butcher, all of these villages.
This is just it. There's no gold. He can't keep up. And this is a masterclass. TheMista has the entire map. He's had the entire map for a long time. Villagers are going down. Look at that villager gap opening up. 97, 96, 94, just dropping so fast. Just went down.
It's a tough one right now. Like, DeMusliM, he needs to breach for new resources, but there's no easy ones to access. The western corner isn't good. You can't go into trade as easily as the HRE. That requires a heavy investment, and you can't even dream of that investment until you pop cap. And he's so far away. If anyone's going to pop cap this game, it's going to be Mista. And that's just going to enable him to start pushing in. So far, he's allowed DeMusliM to have his corner because he's getting 2 foes to the map in return.
Oh my goodness. I mean, sometimes I feel you just look at a map and it tells the story of a game, and just look at that mini-map. Just look at the colors on that mini-map. The only blue are the ponds. It is really, really overwhelming, and you just rarely see a game where the player in the corner that's, you know, been sitting in the corner like that for the game wins. At least trying to break out of his own walls. As Lytical very helpfully shows us, he's just like literally, he's totally trapped in and trying to break out.
It takes so long though because they're fought by Palisade walls, so double tanky. One tough thing in this game for DeMusliM is you shouldn't be deceived by his passive gold trickle either. Mista has a lot of passive gold trickle. He's built a lot of hunt cabins, and remember that these shoreline fish, like, they're located next to small shrubbery lines. So if you look around all his fishing departments, he's got hunting cabins up the wazoo. 24 here, probably another 24 next to it. Yeah, they're like all over the place, which is just accruing a ridiculous quantity of gold. And Mista needs gold less than DeMusliM. They're both pushing siege, and they both have a demand in the infantry. But the Lags deck alone costs more in the gold department than the Streltsy. And they die in half the time.
I'm just not sure at this point. Look at that. All of his units are actually just being used trying to break out of his own base. I'm not sure there's an answer to Streltsy here at all in general. And that gold finally runs out completely. And that is it. He is absolutely out of gold. And out of ideas.
Penny for Benny? He needs a penny. Or a few. Or at least a lot of them.
Yeah, he's breaking. He's finally managed to get through those walls. But
the problem is now, like, there's no gold here. There's 0 gold here.
A couple of Culverins popped up there for DeMusliM, which I quite like, but
Yeah, but
expensive units that he can't afford now to lose. He's going to try and pick off those trebuchets. In the meantime, moving around the base, trying to take down some of those wooden fortresses too.
you can't reach the trebuchets, though, is the problem. They have 16 tower range. Culverins have 12. And they move equally slow. So you can never really gap close upon him. So he can always skirt the range. And the problem is, like, by the time you get him range, you're probably out in the field, and a few knights can pick you apart. It's a really big issue that DeMusliM can't easily answer.
He's trying to make a move, but that's not going to work.
Nope. They're instantly like, nope. Who ordered this charge? This was Dom. Langstack now wrapping on the east side. Bombard's going to back away. The Streltsy getting in position. And remember, the Langstack, they're not tanky. But 105 HP on each of these units, which means 2.5 shots to the Streltsy will kill them off. And there's just not enough of them. He can't afford to renew them if he loses them here. Only 10 remaining in the battlefield. The Streltsy stand their ground. The longer they stand their ground, the standard deployment, the more damage they'll put out. Moves through under the Bombards, able to torch a few down, but the spread out of Streltsy is still going to make this a reasonable fight for Mista in the meantime. DeMusliM at least able to get a little bit of breathing room as he dives deeper. He's keeping his own siege alive while getting through Mista's, and just like that, it is only Streltsy remaining in the field for Mista. The Mangoes could be big here.
Fantastic fight. A fantastic fight for DeMusliM there. That's huge. He is. Look at that pop. Look at the pop.
Yep, it's turned. It's totally turned. And now Mista, he has multiple issues. His gold's dried up, but also the reproduction rates on these Streltsies is long. It's slow, and even when you produce them back in base in mass, they have to run across the field. DeMuslim's about to flood through. He'll be able to take out the proxy base. He'll be able to take out the eco lines, but he needs to keep the pressure up, and that means he needs to make sure he's able to afford the horseman push, because that's the only thing he's going to be able to afford.
What happened there was, I mean, DeMusliM, talk about this game is just a game about timing, right? Ultimately. And his gold ran out and he waited till the last second. No gold left except for his relic income. And just timed it from all sides. That was an all in. I think Mr. shell shocked. I think that Mr. thought he just had him.
He condensed his Streltsy too much. He was lucky that the Langstack didn't gap close upon him first. Like, a lot of the Langstack that DeMusliM had, the finite amount, were actually attacking the Bombards. But that was good enough. That's going to get the GG out. DeMusliM able to claw his way back in. Mista with 2/3 of the map, but 0 shares in this game. DeMusliM will go 1-up.
Wow. That is just an unbelievable comeback from DeMusliM. Unbelievable. Incredibly well played. Mr. GG maybe a bit early, but I mean, he maybe just know when you're beat. Wow.
The problem for Mista is this point in the game, the speed at which everything is moving, he needs a transition to come back, but he can't reach that transition, and he can't rely on Streltsy, because if you think about like how he's keeping up with that, he was using the archery ranges back in base, but also the ones in his proxy base. The proxy base is now exposed. If he pushes units from there, they just die, and it's all going to get torched down anyway. So I don't think it's necessarily premature out of Mista. He doesn't have enough time to recover, especially when all the gold is gone. Like, there's practically no gold left. It's a really big credit to DeMusliM. I think he just completely out-skilled Mista in that center fight.